Welcome to the Breakfast Leadership Show, where we interview global thought leaders on business, leadership, and life. Here's your host, keynote speaker, best-selling author, and chief burnout officer of the Breakfast Leadership Network, Michael Levitt.
Welcome back. I've got Holly Daniels Christensen on the line. Holly, how are you?
I'm doing great.
I am really looking forward to this conversation because you're doing some really amazing work, and especially in jewelry and in a lot of different things. And it's an amazing story. So why don't you share a little bit about you and the story, and we'll dive in.
Thank you. I am the founder and CEO of Dune Jewelry. We're the one and only experiential jewelry company in the world, which means that we capture people's experiences in every single piece of jewelry that comes out of our studio. All of our pieces are handmade, made to order, pretty customized to the wearer. And we use sand and earth elements from thousands of iconic locations all over the world to inlay into our designs. So I know that's a lot in one sentence because we're doing something that probably a lot of people haven't heard about, but basically we give you a tangible reminder of your favorite moments, or we create aspirational jewelry and kind of evoke wanderlust in our community.
I love that, and the quality of it, and custom handmade. That is a rare commodity these days, especially in jewelry, maybe in garments, but even then, it is definitely rarer than it used to be because of just supply chain and everything else. But the fact that you've been able to gather sand from all over the world and other minerals and things that you do to help people reconnect that time. So you grab sand from some island somewhere and somebody went on their honeymoon there, or they went on a vacation, the best vacation they ever had there. And to be able to, instead of having a photo of when you went, but actually have something that you can wear or see every day, is a great design. So what drove you to do this? Because obviously going around and grabbing the sand isn't a situation of going online and ordering it from sand.com or something. No, you physically went there and collected over the years. I don't know if sand.com is a domain. I'm assuming it is. If not, go ahead and register, people. Hopefully make money off of it. But it, tell us about that journey and what inspired you to do it? Because obviously it's definitely different than a lot of paths that people take.
Yeah, it is. I was working with my childhood best friend. I actually was working in the Boston real estate market. I was developing and selling real estate for a lot of years, which I actually loved, but I always had this creative side to me that never got a lot of attention because I was in real estate for so long. But I started working with Kelly, and she was creating these ornaments out of beach sand from Cape Cod, where we grew up. And I was taking them to arts and crafts shows and introducing them to people and seeing people's reaction of how it would be like the moment they knew it was from quote unquote their beach, because that's what everyone considers their special place. It's their place. They have this automatic ownership of it, which is so cool. They would be like, "Oh my gosh, can I bring you sand from Bermuda? I have sand sitting on my bureau from Iceland from 1988." And I'm like, "Whoa, this is crazy how many people had sand or earth elements." And when I say earth elements, I mean, it could be my mother-in-law actually had an item made out of sand from a sandbox because she had this sandbox that children played in for 30 years. She ran a daycare for 30 years. It could be sand from a golf bunker. It could be crushed granite from the Rocky Mountains. It could be pressed flower petals from a wedding or a funeral. It could be human cremains. We do ashes or pet ashes. I mean, anything that holds an experience or a memory for you, typically we can make into a piece of jewelry or an accessory that you can hold on to forever. And you hit the nail on the head when you said, so you just said something that made me go, oh my gosh, that's it. Like you were saying, instead of a photograph, you have this tangible reminder, because all of our stuff is now in our phones, right? Like when I was younger, you would print out the photographs, you would frame them or make a scrapbook or put them in an album, which I think a lot of people still do, but not everyone, not the way they used to. So it's everything so digital and virtual. This is actually, it's tangible. You can hold on to it and remember those moments and experiences.
I love the experience that you had when you first started, making these things. And somebody said, "Yeah, I've got this sand from this remote country, or this mineral that I picked up when I was hiking the last trip I had with my dad, or something like that." Yeah. And we're able to capture it. And of course, the ashes of our loved ones, whether they're of the human nature or the pet feature, both are important. And again, to be able to have that with you, and instead of sitting in an urn somewhere, or a ring, or something in a bracelet or something like that, to keep the memory of your lost ones literally on your hand or on your wrist is something that's really special. And there's a connection too, obviously, with Earth. We as humans navigate around this big floating ball in space, and we are completely oblivious. Even if where I'm at, and of course where you grew up, this time of year is, leaves are falling, and the colors are absolutely vibrant. And I mean, your eyeballs are having difficulty processing all of the vibrancy of all the colors. And people are going about their business and going to work and complaining about this or wondering about that. And they're not even really experiencing or feeling, what the earth is. It's this wonderful, wonderful thing. And to be able to capture some of that from, sand or minerals or anything that you make it, I'm one where it's just like, that is really, really cool. Because I think, and I do a lot of work in the burnout space, and I think one of the biggest challenges is people get disconnected from life in a way, because they're spending way too much time in their head and not doing the things that are right for them. And just going outside for a few minutes and breathing in the air, whether it's cold or it's warm, or, sticking your feet and walking in the grass or walking in the sand, or going out to the ocean, or taking a stone and skipping across water. As simplistic as that is, that's something that you said a minute ago is tangible. And I think in this digital world with smartphones and technology and Zoom and everything else, we've lost kind of our way and the experiences that tangible things provide us.
So true. You just gave me a really good idea, by the way, like a really good idea. Because I am barefoot all the time. I'm grounding all the time. Unless there's snow on the ground, or I'm really in my head, I pop outside every morning. During the summer, I use a little garden as my kind of reasoning. Like as an entrepreneur and a business owner, it's like, it always has to be a twofer. Like, it's not like I can just talk myself into going outside to wander and get my feet on the ground. It's like, well, I'm going to walk outside barefoot to the garden and see, if I can pick anything, or that's just how my brain is wired. I am getting better at it. I am getting better this year in particular of just opening up my slider, walking out there every morning, because it's a really odd time for entrepreneurs right now. And business owners. So you have to be really careful that you just don't let yourself go down a kind of rabbit hole of just thinking about the economy and is there a recession? Is there not a recession? What's going to happen? And living 6 months in the future when really, and I'm not sure when this airs, but right now you have to be going kind of month by month, quarter by quarter as a business owner, because we're in completely unprecedented times. We've just never been through, or the economy really hasn't been through what we've been through over the past couple of years. So anyway, point is that I am outside walking every morning, even if it's for literally 60 seconds, honestly, just to connect my feet to the ground. And it does help me tremendously, which may sound hokey to some people, but try it, because it really, it sets you up for a day of a little bit more of a focused day, in my experience.
It helps me realize how big this world is and how important I am for whatever part I'm doing. So taking care of myself and connecting with earth and air and with people and everything like that has made such a big difference. And navigating through these last few years have been really challenging as an entrepreneur myself. People say, well, what's your 5-year plan? It's like, right now we're basically doing a 5-day plan.
Yeah.
We're doing a 5-day plan, and there are some days where it's a 5-minute plan. Going, okay, yeah. Wait, you don't know. It's like, okay, the pandemic shut everything down. Okay, certain businesses went gangbusters, some didn't, and it's like, okay, looks like we're rounding the corner. Looks like we're going to be at a point where people can go about their lives again. And then we go, oh, okay, well, here, have some inflation, have rising interest rates. Oh, let's have a conflict over in Europe with Russia and Ukraine. Okay, let's throw that into the mix. And then political angst with everybody in the US because of midterm elections. You start throwing all these ingredients in, people are going, what am I going to do? It's like, well, take a look at your boho cuff and look at the sand or the elements. Reconnect, disconnect to reconnect. And I think I'm going to write that down, because I don't know if I've ever said that before, but I love that. I'm sure I've heard it before, but it's so important.
It's so important.
And it helps you navigate through these stressful times. Neither one of us have come up with an ingredient to eliminate stress. It's going to be there. What you can do is reduce it, or at least have the skills to navigate around it or through it. And in your case of just going out for a walk and tending the garden, that's something that is pretty special, because there's a lot of people that can't do that just because of their soil conditions, or they don't have a place where they can plant a garden. But there's a lot of those home gardens now that are coming up, so you can do it too. So become an intro farmer,
like windowsill gardens. I think those are great.
Yep.
I succeed at managing my stress some days, and then other days I don't. I mean, I think some people are better at it than others, for sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's very rare you meet a business owner that has no stress or that manages their stress perfectly. It's a constant kind of evolution. It's a constant topic that you're thinking about, that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, every day is a new adventure, and there's going to be days that are great. There's going to be days that are going to be, why did I give up that real estate gig and go into this? It's like,
if I could sell my business, where would I go to sell my business? And then I'm like, why would I ever do that? Then you go back to something you did before, and you're like, no. And I've done that in my career, where I've switched careers and went into different industries, and then I'd swing back to taste what I used to do, and downright nauseating in some instances. I'm like, I don't want to do this ever again. Right. It's like, okay, what do I need to do so I don't have to? And sometimes that's the, it's not a negative emotion, but it's a positive one if you frame it right. It's like, okay, I'm going to use this as, I know that is not something that I am here to do. I'm supposed to do this.
what do I need to do next to do that? So in
you have to go, you have to go through the bad to enjoy the good. And you have to go, and honestly, any negative experiences that you have as a business owner, it's all a learning experience. And as long as you can take it as that, no matter how hard it is, I think it's valuable, because nobody has it all figured out. There are plenty of people on social media that you go on and you're like, oh my God, like how does he or she just have it all figured out? They're amazing. They must be, magic. And they don't. They just are good at making you think that they do, because nobody has it all figured out.
Nope, and there are a handful of them that are doing really well, but they'll show their vulnerable side. And just like you did a moment ago, saying there are days that are great, and there are days where I'm thinking of selling this business. And I always tell people, it's like, okay, just if this is a feeling that lasts for a very long period of time, then investigate it.
For sure. Yeah.
Don't say I'm done. It's like, come on, and be like, all right, you know what? I didn't like that, piece of bread that I ate, or that salad I ate. Okay. I'm never going to eat bread or salad again.
Right.
No, don't, that's going, you've been paying too much attention to social media and the news, where they want you to go way over this stream. Doesn't matter what side it is, left or right, middle, up or down. But you just have to experience life, ground yourself, figure, and for everybody that could be different, but figure out what works for you and do that. Whether it's pinching your finger, closing your eyes, taking a deep breath, walking outside for a minute, squeezing your dog toy while the dog's sleeping. The dog won't be happy with you by doing that. I'll do that. He just looks like that. Yeah. Why? Or not usually all the time, but sometimes you step on it and go, "Oops," and he just looks at you like, it's not playtime. Quit bothering me. So, but anyway, in closing, where do you see things for the business over the next few years? I mean, obviously you're doing some great work and the business is expanding and everything like that, but any new developments other than the one that you wrote down? You don't have to share that yet, because I know you got to do all the research on that, but, and you're very welcome. I didn't know I was going to help there that way, but I'm happy that I did maybe. So, where do you see things going in the next few years?
I see, I think for a long time, I was a little bit naive about how to scale my business. I thought just sheer willpower and work ethic would get me to where I want to go, but I am realizing that's not the case. So I'm really going to kind of dial back a little bit, educate myself on the best way to scale. I do see us eventually as a household name, as a brand that people are excited to purchase, and proud to be a part of our community, as we are very charitable as well. We've donated over $200,000 back to different global charities over the past 5 years. And I just want to continue that good work. I want to continue helping people embrace life and remember their experiences. And I definitely want to continue growing. So it's just a matter of which path we're going to take at this point.
And momentum helps you shift gears if you need to. It's a lot easier than if you're standing still. So, Holly, love this conversation. Where can people find out more about you and this amazing work you do?
You can find us everywhere. We are Dune Jewelry, DUNE, like a sand dune. And we are on Instagram, Facebook. We're www.dunejewelry.com. We're also on TikTok, LinkedIn. We're everywhere. So definitely check us out on your favorite social media platform, and hopefully you'll stay connected.
I'll definitely have that in the show notes. So, Holly, thank you again for your time today and all this amazing stuff that you're making and doing for the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Breakfast Leadership Show, part of the Breakfast Leadership Network. Visit breakfastleadership.com for tips on empowering your business and your life.